YouTube. Your boy is back once again with another dating and relationships video. Okay, so the subject today is, are girls from out of London easier? Are girls from out of London easier? Now, first of all, man them from London. If any of you are thinking, why the fuck is this guy gonna talk the business and talk and mess up my game? Gentlemen, listen. If you are a true high value male, girls knowing about your game ain't gonna fuck up your game. Yeah, because female nature is female nature. If you're a high value guy, girls are gonna flock for you anyway. So any of your chicks that you got in your rotation watching this video, it ain't gonna mess up your shit. Yeah. So if you're a true high value male, yeah, then don't worry about this. Yeah. Anyway, so are out of London girls easier? What's the answer to that question? First of all, let me just say, right, when I say are out of London girls easier, let me just make it clear for you what I'm talking about. When I say out of London girls, I'm talking about girls that live in England in a place other than London. When I talk about easier, I'm talking about you get sex from them easier, yeah, with less strings attached, and yeah, it's minimal effort, yeah? That's what I mean by easier. So are out of London girls easier, right? So growing up, so when I say out of London, yeah, I'm talking about places other than England. Growing up, so let me just talk about my experience. Growing up in the inner city, urban, ghetto, London, yeah? So when guys are young, they're looking at, when we're talking about easier girls, looking at places like flipping Harrow and Uxbridge and Kingston and them place there. And then man start getting further out, like, you know, Watford. And then man start getting further out to Aylesbury and certain places. Are out of London girls easier? Let's break this down. So there's a few things I want to look at, yeah? So some of these cities or even towns, yeah, outside of London, yeah, not all of them, maybe not places like Manchester and Birmingham, but some of these smaller towns in England, yeah, everyone fucking knows everyone, yeah? So when you're from somewhere outside of that town and you travel into them place there, you're a new guy. They've seen all the guys already. You're a new guy. So there's some excitement there, right? There's some excitement there. So it's like, when you go to them places, you're the new guy. So you got all the options of the gal in it. So you're a new guy in town or whatever. Obviously, I spoke to some friends back in the day. There's certain places that were, all the London guys have rinsed that place, and there's some untouched places, you get me? But yeah, so you go to certain places, especially some of the small towns, everyone knows everyone in it. People have slept with whoever, everyone knows everyone's business. So when you're a new guy, like, it's all about you in it. There's a fresh face on the scene, right? Now let me make another point. So, right, so I'm talking about now. Let's bring it back a couple of decades ago, a decade or two ago. So growing up, like, obviously, I'm a black guy from London. So my experience growing up, yeah, there's not too much black guys out of town in it. So the girls out of town, the ones that are into black guys, whether they're black or they're white, yeah, they don't have a big selection of black guys in their area. So the girls out of town that are on the black guys, because, you know, times changing it. So like, there's black guys scattered across all the UK. There's obviously still some predominantly white areas, yeah. But when you go to certain areas, say for example, there's a particular area and a girl is into black guys, whether she's black or white, yeah? And she's predominantly into black guys, and then there is a shortage of black guys in her area. And you're a black guy from London, you go to that area. All them girls that are into black guys that they don't have a big selection of, you've got more the share of gal than the other guy there who's not black. Well, from them girls who are into black guys. For example, obviously me growing up black, me being this age I am now, and back in the day, yeah, you go to certain areas, yeah, and there's a shortage of black guys for the girls who are into black guys, whether they're black, white, Asian, whatever, yeah, you're gonna be in London with a healthy competition. Bare black man to go around, yeah? Yeah. So I'm only talking about the colour thing from my experience. And you go out of town and then there's a shortage of black guys. The girls that are into black guys, they're gonna have less options, so they're gonna flock to you more. Now, also, another point. So, another point, yeah, is London is the motherfucking place to be when it comes to England, right? So obviously, when you're from London, you got what, to me, London, it hasn't got an accent in it, but they call it a London accent. But so London's the place to be. So when you're from London, you come with your London accent, yeah, you're in the hottest city in not hot as in motherfucking temperature, but you're in the place to be in England, and you're a London guy, and you're coming to their town, innit? Wow, there's a London guy. Yeah. And if you think I'm chatting shit, like, trust me, girls from out of town, they love a London guy. They love a London guy. London's the place to be. So even if you're a London guy and you're not all that to certain guys, just because you're a London guy, yeah, they're interested. Do you think I'm lying? When you have an idea of someone, even if that person might not be even if that person might not be the most attractive guy like you've seen, the girl might go crazy about him just because he's from London. Now let me use a couple of examples and reverse it, how this psychology works. Let me give you two experience. Just like the last video, I'm giving you, this is valuable information. I'm giving you experiences from my fucking life. In the last video, I've done it as well. I wasn't planning to give too much in-life experience, but let me just flip this around and give you two experience from a different perspective. You know I like using my metaphors and similes and all that to make my point. So let me do it from let's switch it around from my point of view now. Let me give you two examples, right? To compare to this, London guys are the hottest thing to some of these girls, how the mindset works. So, I'm in London, England, yeah? So, we know most of the entertainment around the world comes from the USA, yeah? So, all the hottest films come from the USA, most of the hottest music artists come from the USA. You switch on the TV, America's a thing, innit? You want to watch Netflix and watch a film, you're going to probably be watching American films. So we grow up watching, all these American films. We're watching Karate Kid. We're watching E.T. We're watching all these American films, yeah? So America's on the TV. So America's this kind of wonder place. So stick with me. So there's one girl that I met on social media from California. So I didn't know she lived in America when I started chatting to her. So she flew twice from California all the way to come and see me in England. I was like, yeah. Now, with all due respect, the girl wasn't even that great. But my excitement was, an American chick is coming to bang me. She come to the UK twice to bang me. Now, I wasn't excited because, wow, this girl is the most prettiest or sexiest girl. In my mind, it was like, this is an American chick. American chicks coming to see me. That's like, watch how the psychology works. That's what the girls out of London, it's like, a London guy is here. Ooh, let me free up. Fling off the bra, fling off the panty, you get me? So let me give you another example. So there's the location. Let me give you another example about the excitement about, wow. When I was really, really, really young, yeah, there was a chick that I met and I had sex with. She was 12 years older than me, right? Now, again, the excitement was not, wow, visually, she's the best looking girl I ever seen. No, it was the age. Wow, I'm some young youth, and this big woman will entertain me? So that's what the excitement's for. It's the idea. It was the idea of the American chick. Wow, she's an American chick. She wants me. It was the idea of when I was a teenager. It's like, wow, this big woman wants me. So it's the same kind of psychology. It's along the same kind of lines as a London man go out of London and see these chicks. These chicks are used to all their regular bros from whatever town they're from. And wow, this London guy? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying any old busted guy from London can go out and get chicks. I'm not saying that, innit? I'm not saying that. But generally speaking, some gal from out of London, obviously when you get to a certain age, when you get to my age, some of these girls have been there and done that, innit? The fascination thing gone. The fascination thing gone. But especially you younger guys, when you're a young youth, yeah, you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s and you go out of town and these girls are used to all these guys in their area. They're just used to them, innit? Everyone knows everyone, especially if it's a small town. And then you come out of London, you come, you know, with your fresh designer garms and you got your, you know, you've hired your car and that rolling around and you come there, you know what I'm saying? And you're with your boys in that all hype up, popping champagne in the club. The girl them a look pan you. So you got a selection of these girls that, wow, okay, I haven't seen these London guys before. These are some new guys. And if you are a black guy like me and, you know, you go to them out of town places, yeah, that has hardly got any black guys. And then there's some girls there that like black guys, whether they're black, white, Asian or whatever, they're going to flock to you. So are out of London girls easier? Ask me this question 20 years ago. Ask me 5 or 10 years ago. The answer will be a straight yes. But looking into it deeper, it's all about the psychology. I think the answer is generally more still yes. I mean, growing up as a teen, certain London girl was stoosh. And you go out of London and clean up the park. So I would still lean towards answering the question saying yes. But it's not a clean cut yes, as I would say in my younger years. It's all to do with psychology, yeah? So, are out of London girls easier? I want to know your comment. Whether you're a guy or a girl. Whether you live in London or out of London. Yeah? And just a little side note as well. I've been talking about England girls. Girls from overseas, they love a guy with a London accent. Trust me. If you ain't had no overseas gal and you're from London, gents, you're missing out. If you're a single guy, if you're about that dating and relationship and rotation life. Gal from out of London, out overseas, they love a London accent. But anyway, that's it. Just another little hot topic today. I want you to comment below. I want to know your comments, whether you are a guy or a girl, whether you're from London or out of London in England or from overseas or whatever. Comment below. I'm keeping these videos rolling, so subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will let you know when I post another dating and relationships video.